mine that owns a car dealership said, don't sacrifice your principle for the principle, or don't stick to your principle and lose your principle, or something like that. Anyway, so she winds up, so I send her this letter just saying, you know, da-da-da-da-da. And I send Debbie, my office manager, I said, send this letter to this asshole, pop, 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 pop. Well, she mails the cover sheet with the letter. So when the lawyers come to take my deposition, her lawyer and the other lawyer, they were laughing, man. They thought that was the funniest thing. He goes, you keep writing her back and forth? And I said, man, So she winds up reporting me to the state board. And, of course, they dropped it, you know, because she didn't have anything. She had a bunch of underlying dental problems that were already there before she hit the cow. I've been doing digital case presentations since 1995 because our case acceptance was so pathetic that it got to where I didn't even want to recommend dentistry anymore because I hate getting rejected. And this was kind of the thing that changed practice for me more than anything. Jimmy's heard me talk about this before. So has Robert Adams. So has some of the other people in the room. But it's just such an important part of practice. I just have to go through it again. You know, there are things that we try and describe to people that they can't see, they can't understand, and there's nothing like photography to illustrate a point. Or, you know, if I tell you about our clinic in Mexico, you know, you have some kind of idea, you know, but this is it, and these are the people we take care of. And I can't put this into words, but when you see photography of it, you kind of get a sense about it. And what I'm saying is, I think dentistry is the same way. I didn't know what my mouth looked like ever until I went to dental school. I had no idea what was going on back there. I just knew that at age 16, I went in, I had 16 cavities. The guy never took x-rays. That day they take x-rays. You got 16 cavities. You come back. He does MODs all the way around, and I look in the mirror and say, I'll never have a date. Look at those teeth. They're black back there. Because you just don't know. And so I want people to be able to understand a workup of their treatment options, a visual presentation, so they understand this and have value for it, and good communication and a perception of concern and excellence that a lot of times they've never seen before. So is it a big deal? Not really, because now, in 95, a digital Fuji camera, 1.8 megapixels, I mean, that phone of yours does 15, it's 1.8 megapixels is $2,500. You know, and now, you know, a 10 megapixel camera costs nothing. But it just seemed like slides were good, but this is better because we could use it's used, and my daddy, he ain't got time to play golf. He's working all the time. We have a public that can finance anything from an iPod to dental implant. They have real health concerns that weren't around when I got out of school. They're very educated. They're asking questions. They're seeking out information, and they're asking for solutions that are different from what's been offered to them in the past. Because endo, unfortunately, is getting a black eye. It's not warranted, but it's getting a black eye, and to that extent, you know, I'm having to re-educate patients about endo. It's like, endo really does work. You know, don't tell me you don't want to keep a tooth because it needs a root canal, but they're getting some bad information. You know, fixed supported bridge work on teeth, it's not as reliable as we were taught in dental school. You know, in fact, some of the studies that I've seen says 30% failure rate at 10 to 15 years. It's not real good, you know, particularly if it's in your mouth. Because the patient paid for a 3-unit bridge. They thought that was the end of it. Now number 29 has come uncemented and it's decayed out to the max, and it's got to go. So they lose their bridge and another tooth, 2 implants, 2 crowns, you know, $8,000 or whatever. So maybe the solution is not to do that in the first place. And removable teeth retained partials and complete dentures, not really state of the art anymore. I still do some of that, but I want people to at least see what the options are. And then you have a public that's open to having its values raised, if we can just utilize technology to help communicate their problems and solutions visually and effectively so they understand what's going on. So this guy on Dentaltown writes, here I'm trying to convince patients getting restorations in their mouth, and they don't even know what they're going to look like. It's so simple. I have to quit thinking like a dentist and think more like a consumer. I would never buy anything without seeing it first, yet I expect that out of my patients. And look, nowadays when people go to the front office, you know, the estimate is, I mean, it's a lot of money, you know. I mean, if you have a couple of crowns and an implant and a cleaning and a this and a that, it's like $6,000. I mean, it's a lot of money. And so it's no wonder that people go running from some of this stuff. So we're trying to use digital imaging and case presentation just to lay down some foundations so they can see what's going on. This guy had been in my practice for a long time. And after Katrina, Dan Lester, who's an endodontist now in Alexandria, came and worked for me for a month. He tells this guy, he goes, Mike, you ever thought about the appearance of your teeth? You want to make some changes? He goes, yeah, I would like to make some changes. And I mean, this guy's been in my practice. And so we took an image, photoshopped it, say this is what we can do. And so the guy winds up getting it done, you know. And I know he feels better about the way he can't feel good about the way he looks, you know. And we assume that men don't care. Men do care. Because a lot of times they'll say, look, you know, I don't really care what they look like. I just want to be able to eat. Well, when it's time to pick the shade, here's an OM1. You got anything whiter than that? You know? And so, you know, just to be able to show people using something as simple as an intraoral camera. Look, I mean, intraoral camera. The first one Fuji came out with cost how much? Does anybody remember? It was like a refrigerator. You remember how much it cost? 20. It's $20,000 bucks. So I bought a slide camera and started taking a lot of slides. And then we finally were able to buy an intraoral camera for like 10 grand. Well, now you can buy them from China for 200 bucks, and they take good pictures. So we put one in every operatory and get them on eBay. And so immediately we can pull an image up. It doesn't cost anything. Show a patient what's going on. Go to that website, Patient Animations. They have examples of every kind of single tooth replacement, you name it. Here we're replacing, John Oob did this case. This tooth had to be removed, immediate implant. Let him finish the braces with a ponic on the wire. This is after the case was finished. And so just examples. This is Winston Deal's sister-in-law, Alexis. He placed the implant, replacing this molar. All ceramic restoration was done on this thing. And so it gives them an idea of what's going on. This is a guy that came to see me after he got out of braces. And what I wanted him to see was, hey, look, you got to go back into ortho because the midline's off. You know, we got all this space over here for this veneer and not much right there, so we got to put you back in braces again. They redid the ortho. We did a veneer here, implant here. You know, just examples of what can be done nowadays. But nice result. And back then, you know, we didn't. We had these. We didn't have these bone level implants. You know, we didn't have zirconium abutments and all ceramic crowns and all this. But still a nice result. So the point being is nowadays we've got so much more stuff available to us that it really is incredible. This is a case of a girl. She was a model, and she had some bulimia and all this kind of stuff, and you know, it's full mouth restoration with some implants in the back. But this is the kind of stuff that I like to show to patients because they have no idea. They have no idea that we put these in and then come back and make a fixed bridge that cements into place, put them back in this case, in the second bicuspid occlusion. You know, just simple stuff. And that's old stuff. But I went to this place, San Miguel, and in Mexico, and if I was trying to describe what it was like, you know, you kind of have an inkling of what it was like, but I want you to see where this home that we stayed in. This is owned by a pediatric dentist from Houston. He must be stealing money from somebody, but you know, just a fabulous place. 4 couples, we stayed there for a week, and just had a great time. But you know, when you see these pictures, you have a whole different sense about, you know, what this trip was like and what it looked like inside this home. I mean, it's just the only reason we hadn't gone back is because the crime is so bad down there right now that it's really not safe to return to that area. Just a wonderful trip. The weather outside is like that over there every day. And, you know, just showing this photography, you know, kind of opens your eyes up to, you know, what it's all about. And I would contend, you know, the same argument with what we're talking about with trying to show patients what's going on in their mouths because they just don't know. They really don't know. So let me fast forward. Already went through that. Went through that. This is a friend of mine's wife, and he's a dentist. He was in our class. And so this is Gary Miller's wife. And Gary comes in because she doesn't like the way her teeth look, on and on and on. And what we're showing here is, using Photoshop and using PowerPoint, we can overlay an image smile just to kind of get an idea where we're headed. And going further, what I wanted her to see was some of the things that we've got some concerns about. She's got a 3-unit bridge. We want to do an implant replacing that central incisor. And on the bottom, this is where Gary got in trouble. So we take these pictures, and I want her to see what her back teeth look like. Well, she was just appalled that she was married to a dentist and that her teeth looked that bad. And I'm not saying these fillings need to be taken out and replaced. I'm not saying these teeth need to be crowned. That's Gary's problem. I'm just working in the front. But I'm going to tell you, man, this was an eye-opener for her. And it just goes to show you, people don't know. She's got this going on down here. She hates the way that looks. This is a left lateral view. And for somebody wanting elective dentistry, particularly the wife of a dentist, this was kind of it was a wake-up call. The other thing is I wanted to see how we've got these different levels. We've got this going on in this lateral, and then this lateral over here, and then we've got this up here, and then this over here, and this here, and this is down here. So a lot of this asymmetry is contributing to what she sees as a smile. It's really not that pretty. So the idea here is we're going to try to place an implant in this site, restore these with individual crowns, and this is a simulation of what we'd wind up with. So, in just trying to explain stuff to patients, for me, it's worth the time to sit down and put this into PowerPoint and work through it, because the case acceptance, is real high. I've thought through the case to where there aren't going to be any surprises. A lot of times in the photographs, I see things that I didn't see at the appointment. Because the patient's in the chair, you're looking at him at a 90-degree angle. It's hard to look at the gingival asymmetry when you're looking at him, this way, and then so-and-so's on the phone because your kid's in jail, and you got, and so-and-so's not coming to work because of, I don't know. And it's hard to focus on these things, and I'd rather just take the records and just take a look at them when I have some time. This lady comes in and says, I want to have some luminaires done on my teeth. And her brother is a dentist, but she sees me because she lives near the office. And I said, look, we can make your smile look a lot nicer, but as far as luminaires go, not too sure. And this is why. I just wanted to see what I'm looking at. And if you try to do luminaires, I've never done luminaires, but I would imagine if you just tried to not prep these and put veneers on them, they would look pretty silly. Because we've got all this going on, and this is a simulation of what we would need to do with real veneers and real preparations. And the moral of the story is she didn't do anything. She had some braces done on the bottom, and she was happy. She didn't want it, but it's like, what? I don't want to get in to putting luminaires on this, and then she doesn't like the way it looks, and then her brother sees what we did, and he's kind of wondering, what the hell's wrong with me. This is it's not a luminaire case, not even close. And I just wanted to see, these are the things that we see. And the more you analyze this photography, using Photoshop and using all these things, the more you can kind of get the patient to see what the big deal is. So, yeah, we can do this, but it's going to involve a lot more than luminaires. And like I said, she winds up not getting it done. This guy's a jockey, and the first thing you notice is look where his midline is. So, we can look at trying to fix this, but we're not going to be able to move your midline over, and I just want to make sure you're okay with that. And he was. I mean, he's like a lot of jockeys that we treat. They've got multiple decay problems because of the fact that they purge and things like that. So he was kind of a wreck. In fact, almost every jockey that I've seen has signs of bulimia. Every single one of them. And so this is a simulation of what we want to do. Just so he can get an idea. Another simulation. There's his preoperative x-ray. Here we're pointing out the sinuses. This is the game plan. Place these. And this is what we want to wind up with. Timeline, phase 1, sedation, extractions, implants, lab process, provisionals, and bridge work. Phase 2, insert the abutments, final impressions, insert the entire case after 30 or 40 days. And I've used this also with Snagit, where we can go in, show them a simulation of what it's all about, just so they can understand. This is a guided case. It's one of the 12 or so that I've done. I don't do them anymore. But, you know, we're able to get good placement. It really does cut some treatment time out of the deal. Had him in fixed provisionals. This is the final case. Everything's all said and done. And, you know, nice result. The guy's taking good care of it. He's doing real well with it. I wish I could say that about every case, but this has really worked out well. Here's another deal. Look at this. I mean, this is just so with this kind of abomination going on. And, you know, once again, let's do a treatment simulation to see what it could look like. And you know, so if we look at this kind of transition over to like that, I think it kind of gives them some hope. Because a lot of times, they're just looking for some hope. They just want to know this can be fixed. And you know, after 34 years, it's not rocket science anymore. I'm not saying it's easy, but, you know, I'm not as intimidated by this stuff as I used to be. Same thing with this lady here. She's a real popular woman in the community, just hated the way her teeth looked. You know, here we're doing a simulation of what I think we can wind up with. And then we take, like Johnny Barksdale says, we give it to them, then we take it back away, you know, just to show them what the differences are in terms of personal appearance. And really, the only thing that's going wrong with this case is I have an implant clamp on the lower right side that started spinning, so I had to take it out and replace it. But, you know, just to show you. Let's see something here. What? Oh, that's you? I thought this was. I thought this thing was talking to me. So I'm gonna start wrapping it up here.
You use elements, Photoshop elements, or which?
You can use Photoshop elements. You can definitely use that.
You have a library of smiles.
Yes.
Cut and paste?
Yes. We used to teach a course at the dental school, and then after Katrina, we taught. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about a course that we offer in our office for anybody that's interested. It's a shameless promotion because all the money that we raise in giving this course is donated to our clinic in Mexico, or into my home in Destin, as Jimmy pointed out. But anyway, it's called Implant Dentistry for General Practitioners in black and white. We've been doing it. You said you came in 2006? Is that what you said? 2006? So we've been doing it since 2006, and it's been good. I mean, it's getting better and better. It's done in a general practice setting with emphasis on practical solutions for you, practical solutions for your patients. This is one of the most obnoxious friends that I have. He's got 4 300 horsepower, 4-stroke engines on his boat. You know, you can get into overkill with all this kind of stuff. We just try and keep it a little bit more simple. In fact, we don't even spell stuff, patients correctly on there. But it's limited to 15 dentists. We do 12 live surgeries, 6 on Friday, 6 on Saturday with 8 hours of lectures and case discussions in the afternoon. It's a preview of a general practice with implant dentistry component. All proceeds are donated to Latin World Ministries. And our sponsors are BioHorizons, Megagen, and Prexion. This is what the commotion looks like. Tammy's kind of our videographer. We've got one of those head cameras that's hooked up to a network, and everything is broadcast into the meeting room upstairs on a 50-inch monitor. So you can really see a lot better upstairs than you can kind of hanging around in the operatory. But we try and do a variety of cases, sinus lifts. Here Danny's doing a scan, you know, showing the Trio scanner. And it really is, it's really come around. We've been doing it for a while now, as I said before. And upstairs, we got a big monitor. Everybody sits upstairs. Bill Kramer came to the course not too long ago. And so we're able to show these cases and then discuss them. And it's really, I think it's a cool environment. It's a cool learning environment. We really enjoy doing it. We had one scheduled 2 weeks from now. I was so burnt out. We only had a few people sign up, so we canceled. And the next one won't be until April. But it's really a slick deal. If you go to this website, this is Dr. Smith's site, .weebly.com. All the information about the course is on that site. The next one, as I said, will be in April. That's the website right here. And we don't receive any kind of compensation for any of the products and equipment mentioned in the presentation at all. This is our clinic in Mexico. I think 20 years ago, Dr. Carlbrough and I went down there, took out a lot of teeth on a lot of people. A lot of other dentists and physicians in Louisiana got involved. Now we have two 15,000 square foot buildings with full-blown OR, 3 operating rooms, I think an 8-chair dental clinic. We finally have air conditioning now. We have a dormitory, eye care clinic. It's kind of a big operation. Over the years, we would bring students from LSU. We can't do that anymore because the school is so broke that in order to keep the lights on, they need the students there all the time producing dentistry so the school can collect money. You know, it's like you can't afford to send our students. So, or Henry can't afford to let them leave for a week. So now we have students from A.T. Still Dental School, which is in Phoenix, Arizona. Somehow they pay $50,000 a year in tuition and can still manage to come to Mexico. You know, go figure. But it's been good. It's fun going down there and working with students. I basically don't do anything. I just kind of supervise now. I'm so burnt out, taking out the rotten teeth and all that kind of stuff. But and you want to let them do the work. So it really has been good. This is Terry Fugetta, who's a member of the Dental Association. His daughter Dara practiced with me for about 6 years before my nephew came in. Had a lot of students come down over the years. It's been great. We also have a medical team. That's what a lot of these other people are. I don't know. They've done 150 cleft palate surgeries, gallbladders, hernias, you know, scar revisions, a lot of stuff. We've done a lot of dental work down there as well. And so it's been good. So that's where all the stuff goes. So in terms of conclusions, you know, implant dentistry is modern dentistry. There are no substitutes for diligent records, for planning, and for patient co-diagnosis. And that's what we use in the case presentation in a digital format for us, so that they can kind of understand and have some input into it. You got to have a good team with experience and knowledge. I wish that there was some kind of factory that could produce these people, but that isn't the case. And my deal is, if I find somebody good, I pay them so much they can't leave. I just can't. I'm not a motivator. I can't do anything else. But I can write a check, so that seems to work. I just go. I just go punch the wall when they make me mad. Like I told Jimmy the other morning, we had a patient in the chair. They couldn't find a crowns for like an hour. They couldn't find them. Does that ever happen to y'all? An hour. And I said, they're in that cabinet, the one that y'all haven't organized in the last 4 years. They're in there. So they're in my office looking because they think I got the case. So then they bring me a case with 6 crowns on it, and those are the original crowns that were made that I didn't like. So I had another lab redo them, but one of those is missing, so they're looking for the missing crown. I said, this isn't even in the damn case. It's in that cabinet. An hour later, they found it. An hour later. So, and we have to be prepared to deal with complications. Unfortunately, that's just the nature of the beast. I mean, you know, when people ask me, how long are these supposed to last? I said, well, I'm pretty sure we're not going to beat God, and he ain't doing too well. You know, he's not. His track record's not that good. So we're going to take something man-made in your filthy mouth, and you think it's going to work better. I mean, really, huh? I know it's expensive. It cost me a fortune to get through school and to build this place and to pay all these people. I mean, it's just expensive. That's the only way there is. It's the only way around it. And if you take care of it, you know, your investment is going to last you. But if you don't, you're going to be back. You won't be seeing me because I'll be out of the game when it all falls apart. But, you know, you're going to have to pay somebody else. And there are no substitutes for diligent case presentation. I'm just adamant about this. And when my nephew came into practice for me, I said, if you don't do this, you're never going to be able to reach your goals. You have to do this. And I'll say this to the day I die. I just think it's just that important. So, you know, we've got to have competence, knowledge. We've got to be aware of this liability thing. Don't write prescriptions to people that are allergic to penicillin. Give them clindamycin. You know, you always have to be concerned about your reputation. And you know, I was telling my nephew the other day, I said, you got to be careful because if people perceive you as being expensive, they'll go tell everybody, oh, he's the most expensive dentist in town. I said, you want your reputation to be that you're compassionate, that you really do care, that you'll help them out financially to some degree, give them a 5% discount, or do something. And at the same time, watch your own costs, you know. We have these equipment and supply needs that are staggering, and we try and track that. I mean, you know, I work with Sandy Pardue's consulting firm, and we manage by statistics, and I don't want to see supplies over 6%, and I want labor to hover around 23 if possible, and I'm with a rent that, you know, I own the building, so that part doesn't matter, but I'm always looking at labor and all these things, and one day we looked at labor, and labor was low. So I said, Danny, what does that mean? He goes, I don't have any idea. I said, it means we're probably minus an employee. You know, we can afford for you to have another dental assistant so you can work more efficiently. And every time we add a staff member, the practice does better. As it is now, we have 20 employees. There's 1 or 2 missing every single day. Every single day. Every day. Always something. And it's not their fault. I mean, when, you know, so-and-so crapped his pants at school, she's got to go take care of him. Somebody else is, you know, daddy's got... My deal is, if you have a football team, you only got first string, you don't have a second string, quarterback's ill, you're going to lose the game, you know. So for me, it's always been a matter of, we need to produce enough to where we can pay everybody, to where we can buy the stuff we need, to where we can afford to live comfortably, and that's the only way I can make it work, you know. As far as tight-wadding the deal, you know, and that's why I work 5 days a week for, you know, 30-something years. Because I used to calculate how much that Friday cost, and I don't care anymore, but I used to think, well, man, that's 52 Fridays times this amount of production. That's a lot of money to not get anymore, you know. So now I figure, for all the guys that are my age that started practicing 4 days a week right out of school, I've already worked 3 more years than them, so I ought to be able to retire 3 years earlier. But I don't know that I will. I ask people that have retired, how's the retirement going? It's like, don't do it. You know, it's not what it's cracked up to be. So maybe the balance is just trying to do like Dr. Ori, get a couple of sons to become dentists to get them to work. In my case, get your nephew. Or in Danny's, in Jimmy's case, get your daughter to practice. But, you know, it's working on a strategy. We spend our whole lives trying to build up a practice. Then at some point, then you're trying to get away from it. And that's when, like Harold Worth said, when people really want the dentistry done is when they know that you don't need the money. It's like, I don't care if you get this done or not, you know. And it's like, okay, can we do it next week? It's like, no, we can't do it next week. But good troubleshooting skills, well-trained staff, good staff, conscientious staff, knowledgeable lab, and all this kind of stuff, and being prepared for this, because this is, to me, this is an inevitability. We're just going to be dealing with this quite a bit. This is just some pictures taken from a dove hunt with Mike Sim and Ben Infantino in Argentina. On this last trip, we went to Nicaragua. One afternoon, we killed 300 green-winged teal. It was really amazing, really amazing. But that's all I got. And if you have any questions for after, I'm going to hang around a little while I'm waiting for the guy from the Porsche dealership to call me back. Can he ever call me back? Tell me what that engine is going to blow up thing. Thanks very much. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Sholnick Advertising, making phones ring since 1982. SholnickAdvertising.com.